Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today with the Clash in Paris 2025 full show preview. We're going to be coming to you live here on YouTube as we run through the card. Um, Honestly, a little bit of a weird feel in WWE. I can honestly tell you that I know in my soul that there is a show coming up on Saturday. But I don't know it's because of the fact that this is like a lame duck show that is going to be the last on the Peacock era for WWE until moving over to ESPN with the WrestlePalooza next month, September 20th. Um, that show honestly could be as big as WrestleMania because of the fact that it's going to be going up against All Out, AEW running a show in Toronto. Right now, I don't know what to feel. When AEW did All In a few months ago, I felt like they had a whole bunch of momentum, and the tide was kind of starting to turn. WWE, kind of the only way that they get negative press or negative tweets or anything like that these days is because of the fact that their WrestleMania tickets, as well as any other ticket that they come out with, cost so much. Big headlines came out that WWE was charging $70,000 for floor seats at WrestleMania 42. There's going to be some sort of like a 5% price increase over what was already high tickets last year at WrestleMania 41. People thought it was a 1-year deal because it was Las Vegas. People thought it might be like TKO trying to make up for the money that they spent on there. I think until people stop showing up to the box office and paying the amount, I don't think that ticket prices are not going to continue to increase. When I want to go to a show, I want to go to a show. When Monday Night Raw comes, SmackDown comes, and ticket prices to go to Sacramento for a TV show at Golden One are $200 to $300 to sit in the 100 section. I think the 100 section is a great seat for when wrestling comes to town. I've been on the floor. I've been front row. 2 years ago when AEW came, I was able to achieve my dream of actually sitting like on the ramp and actually like high five a wrestler when they came out. That was huge. I've done just about everything there is out there. Just a normal seat is all I'm looking for. And the fact that, they're going to charge that much money for it, I just say, hey, I'm just going to sit at home. I'll watch the thing on USA or I'll watch the thing on Netflix and I'm good. That's the best way that I can put it out there and say that I'm doing what I'm doing. But when it comes to these shows going over to Paris, we've seen them take over Scotland with the Clash at the Castle. Where was the other Clash show? I don't know. In my head, every single time I'm getting ready to say Clash in Paris, I'm getting ready to say, Clash of the Champions or something like that from back in the day in WCW. But we'll get used to it. The show, to me, honestly, I'm looking at it, and it's almost like a free edition of Monday Night Raw. Nothing really, spectacular on it. As of right now, there's only 5 matches, and one of them isn't even a Cody Rhodes match. I understand that Cody's going to be over there filming some stuff for Street Fighter. He, tweeted out the picture of him. Well, it wasn't really of him. It was of his shadow, of him like dressed up like Guile. I'm not really quite sure why Cody is shooting and Roman isn't. But maybe, come SmackDown on Friday, we'll get an added Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I sure thought that's where they were going when Drew took Cody out. Cody works just about every show, no matter what the dude is doing. So I'll take that. But as far as like the end of the Peacock era for WWE, Peacock snuck up on me. I believe I can't remember if it was in 2020 or 2021. But I remember that the WWE Network lived until a certain pay-per-view. I can't remember if it was actually like WrestleMania 37 or if it was just a normal um, pay-per-view, but they said, hey, you have to have Peacock by this day or the WWE Network is done. And because of the fact I had been a subscriber to the WWE Network since day one, even though I went through my ups and downs of watching wrestling, and it seemed like there were so many pay-per-views that I just was not watching in 2018 through 2020. I just wanted it to be there if there was a Sunday night that there was a pay-per-view and I was going to be able to sit down, or just on a regular night I could sit down and watch some old school Saturday night's main event or something like that, like the past library was there. Peacock did good. I mean, they did exactly what I was looking for. At this point right now, I'm really grateful that even though it wasn't 100% of what was the WWE Network, that they had the library there. They came out and told us that it would not be all there day one, but it would get back to 100% in the near future. I don't know if enough people didn't sign up or if they just thought people wouldn't notice that things were missing. I tip my hat to them that during the Peacock era is when we got Coliseum home videos. It wasn't 100% of the library, but it was a good chunk of them, enough to keep you happy for a while. Was uploaded onto Peacock. As far as live shows on the app, I can never think of one hiccup or one major mistake. I mean, somebody might have lost a feed on a show, or maybe one time that maybe that was a Saturday night's main event where just the audio was in Spanish and there was nothing you could do to change it. But maybe something like that popped up. But hats off to you. Thank you very much. Because of Saturday night's main event, the Peacock era for WWE won't be starting, but the major era that we are going into is ESPN. And if ESPN is going to keep doing like SmackDown, I didn't see on Monday. I know on SmackDown that we just had a Joe Tessitore SmackDown rundown of this is what happened. These are the results. As far as like Sports Center, I don't watch. Pretty much the only time I ever watch Sports Center is when I am in a hotel, laying in bed or getting ready to start my day. I think as far as like being home, Sports Center is not really a thing that I check out anymore because of the fact that sports results are basically tweeted out to you. Anything major is put on the Sports Center or ESPN Twitter, and you get them right on your phone as soon as they want you to have them. I sort of kind of just passed on it, but that's basically all we can do is just tip our hat, say thank you to Peacock for continuing on the WWE Network. We'll have to see if ESPN is only going to be doing the PLEs as advertised as of right now, or if they're going to get into the library business. If ESPN Classics is still a network, I could see them, getting a hold of the WWE library and then possibly even running shows like that on the ESPN Classics network. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to do gang numbers of people tuning in, but most of the time when you're flipping through the networks and you come across ESPN Classic and you stop on an old baseball game or an old basketball game, you didn't like tune in because you knew it was on. You only flipped by it and you said, oh, shoot, it's that game? We're going to see the Jordan Fluke game? Yeah, we'll check that out. We'll stay here for a while. And it keeps your attention. And most of the time, like when a commercial comes on, you end up changing it and forgetting what you were watching in the long run. But like I said, this is going to be a TV show. It's going to be a good show. It's not going to be a great show. As of right now, we only got 5 matches. We've got John Cena versus Logan Paul. We've got Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight in a fatal 4-way match. Sheamus and Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. We've got Roman versus Bronson Reed. And then we've got the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. If you tweet, I'm sorry, not if you tweet this, if you treat this show like it's an episode of Monday Night Raw, if you tweet it I just said it again, we're just going to keep rolling with it. I apologize. But if you treat this show like it's a SmackDown that just happens to be on Saturday, I think that we're going to have fun watching this show. I don't think it's going to be monumental or, 2 years from now, people are going to be like, hey, remember Clash in Paris when this, or that happened? In the long run, I'm not looking for any upsets. I am going to say that I think that there's a 25% chance of an upset in one match. Everything else is just going to be humdinger, just pumping it out. We're just trying to get to ESPN. We're trying to get to WrestlePalooza. Nothing huge. It is really going to happen here, but we'll run through it. If you wanted my early predictions, just straight up right off of the bat, we're going to roll with John Cena. We're going to roll with Seth Rollins. We're going to run with Rusev. We're going to run with Roman. And then in the finale, we're going to pick Becky Lynch to keep that one. But we'll run through each and every match, talking about the highlights, the lowlights, and why we're picking what we're picking from here on out. We'll start at the bottom and we'll work our way up. Singles match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I have been talking a lot of mess going back to right after WrestleMania when Becky Lynch attacked Lyra Valkyrie. And, she beat up Bayley to join the tag team match and win the tag titles, only to turn on Lyra as soon as possible. So she could challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. Didn't beat her. Then she finally beat her. She ended up being able to beat her again. But I just didn't understand why Becky cared so much about the Intercontinental Championship. Why was it something that, she wanted to fight for? She was a former women's champion. She had been the main event of WrestleMania. She had won Royal Rumbles. This just seemed like it was something below her. I thought maybe she was just trying to help her friend out, and maybe basically get her over, get a couple wins under her belt. But now that Becky and Lyra's, their feud is over, Becky's holding the belt, and Lyra is nowhere to be seen. I don't even really honestly know what's going on with her. But I'll give it to you here. For some reason, this match, I don't know if it's giving me the 2016, 2017 feels of old school wrestling when we used to watch it on Monday Night Raw and the USA Network and things like that. But I care about this match. Honestly, all of a sudden, you can look, but you can't touch. Nikki Bella in 2025 is in a match that I care about. I'll tell you this much. I don't know if Becky and Nikki had singles matches during the, Becky coming up to the main roster and them doing the whole team PCB, this submission sorority against Team Bad. I don't know if they had a singles match on a Raw or a SmackDown somewhere along the way. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, during the SmackDown era of 2017, I bet you Nikki and Becky were fighting over the SmackDown title. I honestly, I just can't remember it, but I'm surprised as you. Nikki on her, I don't know if it's the Trish Stratus, I'm back. You don't really believe I'm back. Every single time I do something, you get to think it's the last time, but she's still hanging around. I took some shots at her and I said it was, because of the, child support payment that was so large each and every month. That's the reason why she was coming back to wrestling. I can tell you, I think she was coming back even if she didn't get divorced. Um, I think this is honestly something that she wants to do for herself. I think she wants to do it, for her family, to prove that she can still do it. Um, I'm not saying that like the clothing line and the wine business as well as the podcast aren't paying out. I think that they're like she's fine with everything like that. I think it's honestly just this is something that she did, and I can tell you the truth. Like people were down on Divas Wrestling before we got the NXT invasion of Charlotte, and Becky, Sasha Banks, Bailey. They're giving that women's division a huge upgrade, but it really wasn't the Divas division of people. I don't really want to take shots at people, but like when like they just had supermodels going out there and wrestling. Nikki, whether if it was working with um, Daniel Bryan or if it was working with John Cena, just being around that kind of company all the time, she got good. She got real good to the point when she was carrying that title and she was carrying the Divas division. Yeah, it picked up when Becky came to town. They had that big WrestleMania 32 three-way with Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte. And, Nikki, of course, at that time, she had neck surgery. She was like in the opening match, just wearing that freaking collar thing. And you just felt so bad for her. She had no business really being there that soon after neck surgery. And of course, once she got, healed and she got better, she actually came back. In this match, we've got her going up against Becky. I think that Becky's just got to beat her. I don't really know what Becky's doing with this Intercontinental title, but for some reason, this match intrigues me. But I think Becky's, not even really getting an upset victory. I think she's just keeping her championship. If Becky's just going to be holding this belt, to just like give like the women's division on Monday Night Raw one more bigger thing, I'll take it all day. Julia, who I don't know much about at all, is holding that SmackDown championship, and I think since she won it, I think she only defended it one time on SmackDown before a pay-per-view. I don't really know what they're doing with that title, but I don't really ever really see her at all. So maybe they only needed to add one mid-card championship to WWE, because we see the women's tag belts a lot on Monday Night Raw. We're heavily being featured with the Judgment Day. Now they're over on SmackDown with Charlotte and Alexa, and they're cooking something there. I don't think the long run is them just holding on to those titles forever. Somewhere along the line, we have to have one turn on the other, lose the titles, and then we have a singles feud come out of that. We've seen it 1,000 times, but they're cooking something. We just got to let them get there. As we move up the card, we'll go to Sheamus versus Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Last week, we did a live stream, and we read what a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match was. And honestly, I don't mean to bore you, but we're going to run through it one more time. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook match is a no disqualification hardcore match where large wood barrels of Irish brandy and shillelaghs are made available at ringside. The first match of its kind was on the July 29th, 2022 episode of WWE SmackDown between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, which McIntyre won. A tag team version later took place during WWE's 2022 edition of Extreme Rules pay-per-view between the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Pete Dunne, and Ridge Holland against Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci, which was won by the Brawling Brutes. This is Sheamus's signature match. It's his signature match that he is 1-1 in. He lost the match to Drew McIntyre, but this one honestly should be exciting. What's up, Damien? I see you over there in the comments in one section. Just give me 1 second and I'll pull you up. But we're just gonna run through this Sheamus match. It's not gonna take long. Basically, they're gonna go out there and beat the hell out of each other. I'm not really quite sure what years, if it was like 2013, 2014, somewhere in there, when Sheamus and Rusev were fighting over like the United States Championship. I know they had that one Monday Night Raw where they did the match actually on the WWE Network, and they did it once. They never did it again. I'm not quite sure if they did that because of USA being like, hey, we're paying a lot of money for Monday Night Raw, and for the fact that you're going to make people go to your own network to watch matches. We're not playing that game. But for some reason, if Rusev and Sheamus fight on every Raw and every pay-per-view for here on out, I'm fine with it. The one match that we saw with Rusev going up against Sami Zayn on Raw, that was weird. And I don't know why it didn't mix that well for me. But they're trying to build this Rusev character into being an ass kicker that I don't really understand. He's trying to help people by beating them up. But he's trying to, regain that fire in his body. Straight up, I'm going to take Rusev to get the win here. I understand that it is Sheamus's signature match, but I think Rusev needs to get something underneath him if we're going to see him fighting. I don't know. I mean, like, if he's going to be going in the Intercontinental title feud, you got to be thinking, like, is he going to be fighting guys like Dom? Is he going to fight AJ Styles? They can put anybody in a match, and it's a match. But if you're going to want to make people care about it, you got to make people care about this, gimmick of Rusev that, was gone for, basically 4 years, spending that time in in AEW. And when he was in AEW, he didn't really have the best run there. I know that at one point he had the TNT championship, but it seemed like there was so many stops, and the rumors was that he didn't really want to work, and they didn't really know what he wanted to do. As soon as he got out of there, he went right back to WWE. So maybe it's just it's what he knows. But we'll have to see. We got Damian Castillo checking in right here, saying hello. How do you think? I'm thinking of saying, who do you think is winning the World Heavyweight Championship match this Sunday? Honestly, I think I was going to talk about that match last. We'll get to it. We're just not going to skip to it now. And then he asked it one more time. Or we're just running through the cards. We're only on the second match right now. There's only 5, so just stick with me, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. But you flip back over to the Clash in Paris site. Looks like we're going to be going with, what is the bigger match? We're going to run through Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns is on the freaking poster for Clash in Clash in Paris. I keep wanting to call this show Clash in Champions because of WCW back in the day. But I don't know. I love Bronson Reed, but to me, this is like a Monday Night Raw main event. We all know what we're doing here. Probably what's going to happen, the easiest pick I have here is Roman Reigns is going to beat Bronson Reed. It is what it is. And I think at WrestlePalooza, we're going to see like Roman Reigns, like, the old school Mortal Kombat, when like you're in the tournament and you defeat this guy and you like move up to the next guy and you move up to the next guy. I'm thinking that, we're going to see Roman against Braun Breaker. That's a huge match. These guys win at it, in the Royal Rumble, where Roman took a spear from Braun, but then he just seemed to like brush it off, jump up, and just throw Braun out of there. But if Roman is able to beat Bronson, move on to Braun, he's in the driver's seat to be going after Seth Rollins. if Rollins is going to be, running away with that championship in the long run. Bronson Reed, I liked him when he was just a singles guy. He caught my eye when he was in NXT, when he won the North American Championship. He got released, and I kind of was like, wow, that's freaking weird. And then they brought him back. The first time that I really believed that they wanted to have him back was that match against Braun Strowman in the main event of Monday Night Raw. It was actually the first Raw that went 2 hours when USA cut him back to help them get to January when they were going to be starting on Netflix. And I was like, these 2-hour shows, man, they are freaking awesome. They're everything that we've been asking for probably 10 years. The third hour is just killing us right now. 2.5 hours is kind of like the perfect timage. I know that I'm kind of looking at the clock around 2 hours and 15 minutes every Monday, kind of being like, is this wrapping up? Are we almost there? 2.5 hours is possibly the perfect time for a wrestling show. I mean, 1 hour, you're going to be sitting there and kind of wondering, like, why wasn't this guy or that guy on the show? 2 hours, it is what it is. but I think it's going to be good. Roman, the only thing we got to do is say that he beat Bronson. We just got to get him over the hump. Because it's Roman Reigns, I'm thinking it's going to be clean. Bronson's lost matches. He's lost matches before. As far as having like Braun Breaker come down after the match, I wouldn't be surprised. Braun doesn't have a match on this show for a reason. But if you bring, Bronson out, if you bring Braun out to help Bronson, you got to be thinking like who's coming out to help Rollins in the Fatal 4-Way. But then again, like if Roman just straight takes Bronson out, he won't be able to come out, and then he's actually helping out his buddy in the long run. John Cena going to be going up against Logan Paul. This is a little bit of a dream match to me. I have fallen off, but I really started watching Logan Paul's vlogs. I remember I saw the one that he did on YouTube where he was in LA for that first Monday Night Raw on Netflix, and he was in the back and he was telling John Cena, I want to wrestle you, I want to have a match against you. And we've seen a lot of really good matches from Logan Paul. The only negative part about Logan Paul the last few years in WWE is like they used him sporadically. He was here, he was there, but it was never like a continuous run. And on that first episode of Raw on Netflix, he said that he is a full-time wrestler. This is what he is committed to. He wants to be the best at this. And I kept on being like, yeah, he'll be here. But as soon as he gets like some extracurricular activity that's going to pursue him, like a boxing match or something like that, he's going to take time off to go do that. And he'll come back. But, there's going to be times. But Logan has been as close to like full-time as you can get. He had the main event when him and Cena teamed up at Money in the Bank this year. He was United States champion. Like, this guy is the truth. Like, I really believe in Logan. And I know that Cena has turned babyface. And like, I understand that like the last few years we've been seeing Cena as a babyface. He's just been kind of like putting over heels, building people up. I don't think that's where we're going. I think that honestly, the biggest, mystery that is in the room is Cena getting beaten up after this match. I think that Logan's going to do his spots. I think that he's going to do everything to steal this show. I think in the long run, Logan's going to lose, but you're going to remember him after this match. This is going to be something huge that helps him out. But there's no doubt in my mind that Brock Lesnar isn't coming out at the end of this match. And we're going to see Brock leaving John Cena laying yet once again. We need something to set up this show besides for the general manager coming up to Cena and saying like, hey, I just talked to Brock Lesnar and then Logan Paul laying them out. We need to hear that Brock has signed a deal. Brock has challenged Cena. We need to hear that ESPN September 20th, WrestlePalooza. This match is going down. So I have no doubt in my mind that Brock's going to be coming in during this match. He's going to take every opportunity to, pick apart John Cena and beat him up before they have a real match that's going to be there. And then I really think that we're going back in time to old school WWE booking. And I think Cena will be like the WrestlePalooza show in September. October, I don't think we have a show. Wouldn't be surprised if they do War Games as a singles, just a one-on-one match of Brock versus Cena. And then we're also going to be, ending things off with Cena versus Brock at the Saturday night's main event. I believe it's December 13th. And that'll be Cena's last match in WWE. I haven't really gone through my mind. I don't think if they're going to do it 3 times, I don't think Cena's winning the first one. I'm just hoping Cena can win the 2 at the end. Setting up the trilogy, much like how they did the Cody Rhodes trilogy with Brock during Brock's last run after WrestleMania 39, when Brock kept breaking Cody's arm. Yeah, I think that's honestly the best way to put it. Brock's going to kill Cena in Paris. People are going to be surprised that he's there. But, you know what? I keep thinking about Crown Jewel. When is Crown Jewel? I'm going to have to look that up. Because the next show is WrestlePalooza. Right? We got Worlds Collide. Yeah, WrestlePalooza is September 20th. Then we're going to get Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel is October 11th. So we do have an October show. That throws my loop for a little bit right there. I'll have to really dip down and think about it right there. But let's get back onto Clash in Paris. Are we at the main event right now? Let's go. Any comments down here? Yeah, Damian, we're going to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship coming up right here. Stevie Breach, when you posted your first YouTube videos, I was 18 years old in 2008. I was born in 1990. That's crazy. We've been doing this, honestly, for a really, really long time. I can tell you that whole run, I've always really liked making YouTube videos. It got a little bit harder when I just went through peaks when I just didn't care about wrestling as much. When you have your peak wrestling, fandom, you're listening to podcasts, you're watching TV shows. That's the main thing. You actually got to be watching the shows. If you're just listening to a podcast or you're reading news and then trying to make wrestling videos, you're honestly going to tell they suck. I mean, I don't come in here and have this entertaining thing that puts it over the top, and you're I gotta watch Stevie Breach because he's so freaking good at this. I'm horrible at this. All I do is just turn on my camera and just start talking. But if you've got knowledge and you're actually able to think about where they're going, I think this is pretty easy to lay the brickwork down. So I've gone through peaks when I've really made a lot of football videos when I'm talking about the 49ers. But right now, I'm pretty sure I'm on a pretty good streak where I've uploaded a wrestling video every day. I think going back until my WrestleMania trip. There's always, something to be talked about out there or something like that. So, Damien, the one most important thing I have to say is, I don't think I would do it without you guys. If if there wasn't 5 people in here right now watching this thing, it's really hard to have a live stream. I get really nervous before I click the button that says start stream. I don't know why, because like when I'm in my car or I'm sitting on the front porch and I just press the button to like start a video, I can do it. And I can tell you the truth, like I mess up every once in a while being like, hey, what up everybody, this is Stevie Breach. And you're able to start again. But if you do something stupid on a live stream, it's there forever. I mean, you can download it and like edit it out, but the live stream still lives on, where you look like an idiot where you don't even know your own name. But that's the way it is. So Damien, thank you very much, man. Main event here. This one here honestly changed for me a little bit last night. I really thought that we were doing Rollins versus Punk, Uso, and LA Knight. I thought that they were just throwing pieces of the pie together. And I understood, Seth Rollins is your champion. CM Punk was your last champion who lost your championship. LA Knight defeated Seth Rollins in his last real match on Saturday night's main event. Jey Uso, what are you doing in here? Very wild card. He is a former world heavyweight champion. Are they putting him on in this match just so he has a match on the card and like keep his momentum and like keep rolling through? It didn't really make sense. But now we see the story, especially after Monday, when Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker came down there after the LA Knight versus Braun Breaker match, and Seth like bailed out. And as like Bronson and Braun wanted to get back in there and beat these guys up, he said, "No, watch. They're going to do our work for us. They're going to take care of each other." And then we basically saw, what was it? It was Punk, and, took out LA Knight, and then Jey Uso hit CM Punk with the super kick to basically end the show standing tall inside of the ring. The one thing that I held on to more than anything else is Punk wanted to make this the easy way to see this match. There's 3 baby faces and 1 heel. If the 3 baby faces would come together, they can beat up Seth Rollins, take him out, eliminate him pretty much from the match, and then they could fight each other to find out who the best one is of them. But when Punk came to Uso and said that as long as we stay to the plan and we work together, I think Uso as well as LA Knight took that as, hey, we're going to go at this 3-on-1, but then at the end of the day, Punk's going to be the one to pin Seth Rollins. I don't think that's what Punk was asking for, but at that time, you got to understand that Uso and LA Knight took it that way of like, hey, just as long as I win, we're all good at the end. Both of these guys feel like they deserve to be in this match for the long run. I really liked the promo in the back. 100% of me was saying Seth Rollins is going to win this match by hook or by crook. And we're just going to move on to WrestlePalooza. And we're probably going to do Rollins versus Punk 1-on-1. That is probably the biggest match that they have here. And then we had Jey Uso getting advice from Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns was saying things like this, this isn't about having friends. This isn't like being the leader of the locker room. This is about making moments, winning championships, building your legacy that people are going to remember. That's why we do this. Kind of heel stuff, honestly, in my mind. It reminded me a lot of Roman with the bloodline, basically using Jay and Jimmy to step on anybody. As long as he walked out with the championship at the end of the day, the family lived on and the family lived strong. But as soon as Roman started being the one to take a fall here or there, he wasn't going after the person that beat him. He was going after Jay and Jimmy for letting that person have a chance to beat him. That's the part that I really don't get what's going on with there. But Jay, I think getting that talk from Roman in the back led him to being able to super kick Punk to end the show. We've seen Jay run out to help Punk. We've seen him run out to help Cody. in any situation. You can basically root down Jay losing his championship to Gunther because he couldn't help putting his nose into other people's fights. Gunther sat down in the locker room and warned him that if you don't start thinking about yourself, you're going to lose to me in the long run. And that's basically what ended up happening. But I don't know. There's a good portion of me who thinks, did they, it's not out of the ordinary to have, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns be together. But to give him that kind of a pet talk before this match, it almost changed it to, I think, Jay has a 25% shot to win this match. And then I'm like, okay, if Jay beats Rollins, they could still do Rollins versus Punk, in a big match at WrestlePalooza. But then Jay, he has, the World Heavyweight Championship. What does he do? I immediately started thinking like, well, I guess Gunther would come back, and Gunther's gonna want, a shot to go after this championship. So do we just jump right in to just running WrestleMania back at WrestlePalooza, and we just do Jay versus Gunther? Is there anybody else out there that could go after? I don't think Jay versus LA Knight. I'm not trying to put any slight on LA Knight's name. I'm just saying that match to me doesn't seem huge. I mean, I like LA Knight. I'm not the hugest fan of his. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. If I was, putting money on a bet in a casino, I'd still bet on Rollins to win this match. But there's the little thing in the back of my mind that just keeps thinking about that promo all the time of Jay doing that. But I think we're moving towards a really great pay-per-view at WrestlePalooza. Cena versus Brock. I'm guessing Punk versus Rollins. Anything could happen, but I think this show, honestly, is just kind of like getting us through. And like, once again, Peacock, I appreciate you. You did good. I mean, come the end of the year, if the WWE library does not exist anywhere than like YouTube, I think it's going to be a sad day. We're not going to know what we had when we had it. This ESPN deal, it's not the biggest change that's going to happen in my life, but I found out that it's either going to do this. I can keep my YouTube subscription, and I'm going to have to pay the $30 to add ESPN Unlimited, or for the same amount of money, I can jump over to Hulu Live TV, pay the same amount that comes with an ESPN Unlimited deal. What scares me is I haven't done it yet, but if you look at the ESPN Disney bundle, they say for the $30 a month, you can bundle ESPN, Disney Plus, and Hulu, the regular edition, for $30. It says you get an ESPN Unlimited account. Then if you switch over to the live TV page, it says live TV comes with an ESPN Select account. ESPN Select is the equivalent of what ESPN Plus used to be. It's not ESPN Unlimited. So I don't know if it's just a matter of they didn't change the right words on their page. Hulu's a big company. You got to be thinking someone's proofreading this stuff. I have gone on the Hulu site. I've talked to an agent. They told me that you get ESPN Unlimited with live TV. I've tweeted the Hulu, what is it called? Like when you need help, the Hulu help page, they say that, yes, you get ESPN Unlimited. Part of me doesn't want to sign up for Hulu and make the switch until I have to, September 20th. I don't know if I'm praying for rain that YouTube TV might find a way to get a deal with ESPN to include it as well. That's my biggest hope I have. I'm really only not wanting to not have Hulu or YouTube TV so I can listen to football games while I'm at work or in the car, basically, pretty much. That's the one reason why I don't want to. I think at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter if I'm Hulu or YouTube TV. I just want YouTube TV because of the fact that's what I've always had my entire life. With Hulu, you can add for, I believe, I can't remember if it was $5 or $10. You can add Red Zone. I've lived with Red Zone and I love it. I don't watch it when my 49ers are on. And most of the time they're on at the 1 o'clock hour. And, the earlier games I'm going to be at work. So I don't want to be paying for something that I'm not actually watching. The YouTube TV, they have, I forget what it's called, Sunday Ticket or whatever the heck it's called. I don't think I would pay for that because I'm not going to watch every game that's out there. I'm good enough with the CBS game, the Fox game. The Niners are normally the Fox game, unless there's a game of the week that bumps it out. I get Thursday. I don't even remember, NFL Network or something like that. And then you got Monday, you've got ESPN. So all those doors are covered. I'm going to have everything I need that way. But we'll see. Fun stuff coming up there. Damien Castillo, we'll end it with this right here. When the WWE Network came out, my family got it for me. I was 24 years old at the time. I remember signing up for the WWE Network first day. That was, some of the most awesome times. I remember watching WCW's Bash at the Beach was the first show that I ever watched on there, where the NWO invasion first started with Hogan turning on Macho Man and and Sting. Right here, this is the one I wanted to end on. I remember when you and your friends went to the Chris Benoit house. I remember that the lead up, the first plans of us going to the Benoit house in Atlanta for WrestleMania 27. Me and my friends used to get on Skype all the time. Skype died this year. Sad day. I understand that you can go on Discord and do the same thing. Basically, I've done that with my friends, not all of them, but it's just not. It used to be every freaking night. At one point I was getting on while I was at work. My other buddy, he used to get on while he was at work all the time, and we were able to talk. And people thought that we talked crap about other YouTubers or stuff like that. Most of the time we talked about wrestling. If we didn't talk about that, we were talking about sports. We were talking about stuff that was happening in our lives. It was the best. I honestly thought it was. But when we started putting together this Atlanta trip, I don't even know if it started as a joke or reality. We were going to go to the Chris Benoit house. And it's not like it's hard to find, but one of our friends, he found the address and where it was. And we found out that it was only an hour out, basically, from where all the WrestleMania stuff was. And we already had a car. So I remember we rode out there and we stopped at Subway. And then when we came out of the Subway, it was this feeling like, all right, we're really going to do this. It wasn't like we had high expectations. It wasn't like we thought we were going to see Chris Benoit's ghost floating around in the front yard or something like that. But as far as wrestling history in Atlanta, I don't think there was anything bigger than that. If you can think back to, I want to say that was 2007 when it happened. That changed wrestling as far as them having the that now they started testing for CTE and the steroids, and they got really strict on that. And it was almost like wrestling, the wrestlers care went up because it was like, oh shoot, these guys, you know, they keep doing this. They could go crazy, and we still don't really know 100% what happened there. And I don't think any of us meant any like disrespect. But we still talk about, you know, going to the Benoit house. When we went to Ravi's wedding last year, it still came up. Ravi has the Chris Benoit rock. If you all tweet him and ask him to go into his wrestling room and make wrestling videos, I don't think he's made one since going to Elimination Chamber. I was really hoping he was gonna like do a WrestleMania review. Look at his like Detolf that sits behind him. It's got the championship in there, and I believe on the second shelf behind him, you can see the Benoit rock that he took from there. It was definitely like, I don't want to say it was the time killer of Monday because there was really like nothing going on, but like it wasn't like looked at as like a highlight. And I remember it came up a few times. I remember telling LV when we were hanging out with him that we were going to go there on Monday. And I remember his like reaction of like, they're going to flag your channel. Like we weren't going there and like throwing rocks through the window. We just went there and like kind of like paid our respect. We weren't the first. We weren't the last people to roll out there. There's been other, you know, videos that are there. And it was damn cool, man. Really, really cool. So I hope everybody out there enjoys, Clash of Paris on Saturday. Don't forget it's on Peacock. After that, there's going to be a Saturday night's main event, I believe, in November as well as in December. It's up to you whether if you want to cancel Peacock and resubscribe the day of, or just keep it flowing and watching those Parks and Recs reruns and Office reruns or something like that. But we'll see, man. The end of an era for Peacock. Clash in Paris 2025. Peace out, everybody.